Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm back up to the farmhouse. I'm not real sure where this weekend's going to take us, but I did bring up some more boards from a job that we're doing. This time they're not treated, these are all cedar. I probably won't use these on the chicken coop because all the ones on the chicken coop right now are green treated. And I have already brought up some treated boards. I'd like to use them on the whole chicken coop if I can, just so everything matches. I've got this back to do. And then I still have to do this side. It's the middle of August, 77 degrees right now. On certain days you can already tell that fall is coming. Some of the leaves are starting to fall off of these maple trees. Some of the trees you can start to see that yellow tinge in the leaves, so it's just right around the corner. It's going to be getting cold. Well, I just ran up to the store and I bought new spark plugs for the tractor. When I was doing the putting the dirt on the driveway, towards the end all of a sudden the tractor had a miss, and I've been so worried that something like, I don't know, something went wrong with the valve or something. I mean, it's an old machine. But I wanted to start with spark plugs, and I didn't. It takes a 7/8 inch spark plug, a wrench, to pull it, and I didn't have one, so I've waited for weeks now, and I haven't needed the tractor. So I just pulled all these out, and although they look kind of dirty or kind of oily, this one here has dirt or something that completely closes it off. Not sure if you can see that, but on that left side there it does touch. I put the 4 new spark plugs in. Now I'm going to fire it up and see if that was it. It had to be. I mean, that definitely was blocked. But middle of August, winter's coming. I was getting worried. I need this thing to be running really good for moving snow. Just like brand new, doesn't miss anymore. I'm so happy that's all it was. If I have time this weekend, since it's warm out right now, if you remember one of those last times I had to push snow well, it'll be early this spring when winter wouldn't end. This drain plug right here fell out. I had to get a new one put in there. I remember when it came out, it was kind of a greenish or yellowish or whatever oil, which meant that there was liquid in there. Well, I've never drained it yet. I did buy the 15 gallons, I think is what it takes to fill that back up again. And it's just been sitting here, but it was cold. And of course, this stuff here is 80-90 weight, so it's going to be quite thick. So it's better to do it when it's warm. You're not even going to get it to come out of the tractor if it was cold. So hopefully I can get to that this weekend. If not, this coming week I'm going to be here a lot. Melissa has to fly to Louisiana on Tuesday. She's not coming back until Friday. I'll have to come up here. I'll actually drive. Go down, go to work, and then drive up here. I'll take off work early and drive back up here because I need to take care of the animals. The dogs need to go out. So I'll be here for those days. So one of the days when it's warm here, I'm definitely going to get that oil drained and get the new stuff put in. I also want to get the rest of the plywood put on this coop and get the weather watch or ice and storm, whatever you want to call it, on there to get it waterproofed. I really want to get the chickens up here before the snow flies. But since I just got up here, I have no idea where the weekend's going to take me. I just know that I'll have time to do some of this stuff next week. I brought onions and potatoes up from the hobby farm garden. I also brought up sweet corn, squash, a nice head of cauliflower, and some cucumbers. Looks like Melissa is home from work. Melissa is going to cook up some dinner. She's making smothered pork chops with onion gravy, mashed potatoes, and corn on the cob. And that'll take a couple hours because it has to go in the crock and cook on low heat for a long time. So I'm going to jump on the mower and cut some grass. I was mowing the side of the road here and I got down there, I don't know, 150 yards or so, and that must be the way the slight breeze is going, and we've got the windows open in the house and I could smell those pork chops frying. It smelled so good. Now I'm going to mow over here on this side pasture. She doesn't like to mow this one much because it's so bumpy, and where that tall grass, or that's actually goldenrod over there, is there's logs that are buried over here. So we are right now looking for a finish mower, like at least a 6 foot wide, to pull behind the tractor. They look good.
I do. Making me hungry. looking really tender.
Yeah, it looks good. You got potatoes boiling over there.
Yep.
Corn just about ready to go.
Yep. It's not a lot.
Nobody misses potatoes like you do, baby.
I
Yay! 3 peas and a gallon of butter. Perfect. Let me guess, is that garlic powder or onion powder?
know. Garlic.
No kissing.
Absolutely not.
Maybe 1. What are you doing, big boy? Well, it's going to be dark pretty soon. I'm going to run out here. If you remember in the last farmhouse video, we put up the new camera back here. I want to pull that SD card, and then I want to run and grab the one that's behind the workshop. The one that's in the woods, that one, remember, is not working right now, so I'm going to have to pull that tomorrow and take a look at it. But let's take a look at these two, see if anything got on here. Well, I grabbed the first one, run back behind the workshop, grab that second card. It's so different this year walking in this field because last year the grass, it was hard to walk through because it was at least waist deep and it was thick. I may take the tractor this weekend and run it right down the side of the barn and get rid of that whole structure right there. See how hard it is to push that over. Melissa said she's been looking out the window every morning when she gets up and she hasn't seen any deer. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any on the card here. I tell you this much, the mosquitoes are still here and they're still biting.
Homegrown.
I know, everything. The potatoes, the onions, the corn. We need to grow pigs again. Everything would have been homegrown.
Yep. We would have pet pigs, though.
I know, we'd have to keep them forever. You would not let me kill them. Let's take a look at those SD cards, see if we have any pictures of deer. Well, not a whole lot of deer on the cameras, but there was a few. That far one, that new one that we put up, we're probably going to move that one. Wasn't a whole lot of action there. It's time for dinner. That looks really good.
It does.
Okay, everyone. Well, it's a little after 10:30. Melissa and I have just been in there watching a show called Disappeared. That supper that she cooked tonight was better than anything I've cooked in a long time. It was delicious. I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, this morning I just been inside with Melissa. Actually, I've been looking online at finish mowers for behind the tractor here, and I did find one. talk to the people, and I'm going to actually pick that up on Monday. So we'll have a 6-foot finish mower, PTO driven, to pull behind this to mow those pastures. And I was in here looking at this. That's the drain plug I have to pull to drop all the oil out of the gearbox down here. So I do not have a wrench to pull those bolts. That's 1.25 inches. I would have one at the hobby farmhouse. I don't have one up here. So I'm going to go up and get a socket for that. I'd like to loosen that up because otherwise when I pull that drain plug, the oil is going to go all over the place before it gets in the bucket. So I'm going to drive into town right now and get that stuff and spend a little time on the tractor. It'll be nice getting this done. These little things like this that need to be done before winter are the things that are on my mind all the time, that I think about. And because once, you know, it's really nice today. Right now it's 76, it's going for 83 I think today. But winter up here is unforgiving, and when it hits, it's here. And this stuff does definitely need to be done. I don't have to cook lunch today because Melissa's going to make sloppy joes. We haven't had those for a while, and we both are looking forward to that. Little girl. Who's your favorite, me or Melissa? Me.
No.
Looking at this, I think if I just loosen up that bottom bolt, this looks like it has a, it'll pivot on there. Maybe this is made quite well. You just pull that bottom 2 bolts and you can pivot this whole thing up so you can drain that oil. Well, that might work if you have, I don't know how, it doesn't move for me, but if I suppose this thing is pretty heavy. I just loosen those bolts out some, and I can get this to pull out. I don't want to take the whole thing down. I don't know that I can get it back on there again by myself. Well, that did pull it out some. It's still going to be a mess. It's lunchtime right now. Melissa just opened the door and said it was time to eat. I've been out here tinkering with this for quite a while, and finally I separated one side and dropped it down, and now I think I can get that drain plug out. I'm going to run a piece of cardboard over the top of the tongue there to divert the oil here, and then I've got 2 buckets that are ready to go to collect it. And then as they fill up, I'll just come here and dump it into the funnel, and I've got my 55-gallon drum that I put oil in. Well, that went about as expected on that back one, and now I'm just draining the oil out of the motor. I might as well change it all right now. You know, then I don't have to worry about it till spring. That oil is pretty black too. You know, one thing when I talked to Kenny, I've talked about him before in the videos. He knows everything about tractors. I've shared his link in the description before for his channel. And I had talked to him because I watched a video where a guy then ran like kerosene or something in through the where the gears and everything are to flush it out, and he gave me a huge no, do not do that. These tractors are so old that the gunk that's in there now, keeping the seals from leaking, you know, or the gaskets or whatever, if I were to flush it, I should only do that if I was going to do a complete overhaul and all new gaskets. So we won't be doing that. We just drain out the old and put in new. I just dumped some new gear lube in there and let that run out a little bit here. Then I'll put the plug back in and we'll start filling it up. Well, she started running out the side here, so we're all full. What? Cleaning up my mess, 15 gallons of oil stuff. Now I'm going to change the blades in the lawnmower. Whoever put the blades on this thing last time, the center blade, they didn't get it all the way up inside the star. They got it on there a little crooked and tightened that blade down. Well, you know, the little star that this fits into is aluminum, and it's aluminum so that if you hit a rock or something, it'll give, you know, it'll actually break. Well, what it did is it mushroomed it. He had it up there tight, but it was a little bit crooked, and it mushroomed it. And I don't want to take the whole deck off and flip that over, so I'm trying to just grind that little mushroom edge, which is just tiny. I could cut part of it off with my utility knife. I've had this happen many times before because I mean I mow some pretty tough stuff. Even with the other Husqvarna, I've had a couple, and this will happen, and it's just frustrating is all.